We have probably one of the most amazing riverside sites in the Waikato. The brief was essentially to build a family home that overlooked the river. So in this particular design, we have catered to early morning sun in the bedrooms and dining kitchen area with the sunlight moving around, and the west sun sets more into the front entrance area and what will be developed as a feature courtyard. The main living area is that part closest to the river, and the house is essentially one room deep, and you feed into the rooms going east from that main gallery area. Now the big thing of course is that the climate's changing faster than we realise, so the western sunlight in the summer is actually something we try to mitigate as much as possible, soften as much as possible. So we've got the advantage of doing that by keeping most of the non-habitable rooms out to the west. The scale of the site's enormous. It's very expansive, it's very horizontal. You've got the Waikato River, you've got an elevated building platform. So you can understand and appreciate how horizontal the whole site is. The roof shape and form wants to be very blade-like, very thin. It also vaults. So in other words, you get the long, thin sections, very wide soffits, and it gives it a very, very elegant look. Whereas if the soffits are clipped, and you can see it even in the basic drawing, the building becomes very square and quite bulky. We're using a construction material that gives us very deep reveals around the windows. So we're 250mm thick walls. So again, you're going to have all the joinery sitting midway in that wall. It creates nice shadow, nice depth, both internally and externally. Also part of the brief was the development of a guest apartment or cottage, which is a baby version of the main house. You can see that we've got the Waikato River, of course, which is through this area. We have an extension of the existing architecture. We don't end up with something that's totally different simply because it's a separate building. In terms of the landscape development, we'll be extending walls of the house out into the landscape as well. And the moment you do that, you soften the transition between the architecture and the landscape architecture, and you also extend the apparent size of both buildings. So you end up with that sort of look where you have hands, if you like, of wall area coming together and softened with, in this case we're using pleached hornbeams or beech, which essentially are trained, pruned, quite hardy European trees that will give us again another landscape link between the two buildings.